Good morning, John, and thank you so much to visit us here in Portugal. It's wonderful to have you here with us, and also to have this opportunity to ask you some of opinions and to share, also to listen to you, to share some ideas. And my question is about your vision as General Secretary of Rotary International. You have a lot of knowledge about our Rotarian world, about the Rotarians around the world. And the world is also facing big changes with this pandemic, now the war in Ukraine. In your opinion, what are the biggest challenges to the future of Rotary?
Well, first, Sérgio, thank you so much for having me here. It's great to be in Porto, your hometown, beautiful city. It's great to be back in Portugal. I think Rotary has challenges on two different levels. The first, I would say, has to do with sort of increasing our membership and increasing through that the impact and the scope of the work that we do. As you know, we have 1.2 million Rotarians throughout the world. In addition, we have another 200-some thousand Rotaractors. And so I think the challenge we face today is how do we take this incredible platform that we have and grow it. Because in certain parts of the Rotary world, we're seeing membership declining significantly. In other parts, we're seeing membership increasing significantly. In other parts, it's remaining stable. And so for me, the question that we need to really begin to address is, what is the product that we're offering to the marketplace? And right now what are we offering? The club experience. The experience you get when you join a Rotary club. And you pay for that experience with your time and your money. And as I mentioned, in some parts of the world, people love our traditional product and they're joining. In other parts of the world, they're not. And so we need to step back, in my view, in those places where we're seeing a decrease in membership and rethink our product. How can we make our product relevant to the people that we'd like to have join our organization? How do we make our product one that people are going to find interesting? What can never change, and you and I have talked about this before, can never change are our core values, the four-way test, focus on ethics. Those things can never change. But how we deliver those core values, how we do our meetings, in my view, is not a core value. That's just the vehicle, the vessel through which we deliver our core values. And so as I look around the Rotary world, again, one of the challenges I see is, how do we change the product that we're offering in a way that is more relevant, offers a value proposition to the people that we want to attract to our organization. Now, it has a second aspect to this. It's not just growing Rotary for the sake of growing Rotary. It's also growing Rotary so we can increase our impact. Let's look at what's happening in Ukraine right now, in Europe. Rotarians have responded in an incredible way in terms of making a difference, working with the refugees, whether it's here in Portugal, in the frontline countries, in Poland, the Baltic countries, Slovakia, Hungary, Moldova, Romania, and our Rotarians in Ukraine. And so because of our network and because of that we are everywhere, the impact we can have and are having, for example, on the Ukrainian refugees, is incredible. And so how does that help our organization? The outside world sees this incredible work that we're doing. And they say, oh my God, Rotary is an organization that really has impact. I want to join that organization. So challenge number one is, how do we grow our organization, particularly in those countries where our membership is declining? And so we need to rethink our product. And secondly, by growing Rotary, by expanding our reach, by expanding our impact, we're going to attract even more people and make an even greater difference in the world. That's one challenge. And the second is, sort of shifting gears a bit, is our continuing goal to eradicate polio. We're down to just two countries, Afghanistan and Pakistan, where the disease, the wild polio virus, is still circulating. And so we need to finish that job. And Rotarians have done an amazing job over 35 years in our fight against polio. We need to finish, we will finish, and we'll leave a huge legacy for the world going forward.
that idea, John, about the end of polio, and we know that it's a big mission we have around the world. Rotarians are very focused on that. I believe we will do it. This is our history. We have more than 1 century of serving the world, and we have this. I think we are also this enthusiastic guys that really believe that we can have a better world to our children, to our sons, to all the kids and all the people around the world. And sometimes when we talk about polio, Rotarians think, and what's next? When we finish polio, what is going to happen? Are we going to be empty? What do you think about this? What's your vision about this, the after polio? Because I'm sure we will do it. That's for sure. So after polio, what's your vision about it?
Well, this is one of the challenges that we face. We need to finish polio, and we need to be singularly focused on that challenge. However, if we do want to have a global project after polio, it's not like we eradicate polio on March 5th, 2026, and on March 6th we say, okay, now we're going to do something else.
We are going to,
yeah. You need to start thinking well in advance in terms of what you're going to do. And so the challenge we face is how do we keep our focus on polio so we do finish the job, but at the same time begin thinking about the next global project. So that raises the question, should we have a next global project?
Should we have?
Should we even have one? And I personally think we should. If we look at polio and what it has allowed us to do, not only are we truly making an impact and leaving a legacy for as long as mankind exists. Think about that. When we eradicate polio, it's a legacy that will exist for as long as mankind exists. That's fantastic. But also it has elevated our organization. We're now in partnership with WHO, UNICEF, the Gates Foundation, Gavi, CDC in Atlanta. We are sitting at the table with some of the biggest players in the international development space. So it's really elevated our profile, and it's given Rotarians something in common, whether you're a Rotarian in Afghanistan or in the United States or in Finland or in Mozambique, you have a common cause that everybody can identify with. So I personally think that we do need to have a new global project. The challenge will be, what will it be? 1.2 million Rotarians. I suspect we're going to have 1.3 million points of view
for sure.
in terms of what it should be. And that's actually a good problem to have, because it means that Rotarians do so much and they're so passionate about so many things that there are a lot of things to choose from. So our challenge will be, how do we find that one thing that everybody can rally around? If that doesn't work, then perhaps we could have a signature project in each of our 7 areas of focus. Rather than one, we have, or we may wind up having nothing if we're not able to agree. I personally think we should have a global project. Now, if we do, in my view, it has to at least have three characteristics. Several years ago, the Harvard Business Review asked me to write a short piece on how was it that Rotary, a nonprofit, right, not a government agency, but a nonprofit with so many members around the world, was able to stay so focused on polio over more than 30 years. And I said, for me at least, because the polio effort had 3 characteristics, and I think these 3 characteristics would have to be at any new global project. One, in 1985 when we started, polio was in 125 countries. Every Rotarian in the world knew about polio, more or less. It wasn't some exotic disease somewhere far away. So it was very real to most Rotarians. Second, because of the oral polio vaccine, any Rotarian could be a vaccinator. You didn't need to be a health professional. And I know when I went on my first National Immunization Day vaccination campaign in India, I was in a slum in Mumbai in a small room, and I was vaccinating children as the mothers were coming in. And then I looked out the window and I saw 4 children crawling across the street with polio. And at that moment, it became emotional for me. With those 2 drops, I am ensuring that those children will never again will never have to experience what those 4 children were experiencing in the street. And then it became more than just something I'm doing. It became very, very, very emotional. And so through the years, we had hundreds and hundreds of thousands of Rotarians participating in these vaccination campaigns, and they became emotionally invested in the polio effort. So that's the second. It has, whatever, if we do a new global project, it has to be something where Rotarians can participate beyond just giving money. And the third was, it was very clear that there is an end game, and it's an end game that you can measure. We either have polio or we don't. So those are the 3 characteristics I think need to be in any new global program. It has to be something that almost all Rotarians can identify with. It has to be something where Rotarians can participate beyond check writing, and it has to be something where we know when we've won, when we can declare victory. If it's something too abstract, it's not going to unite. So I personally think, again, we need a global project. It needs to, in my view, at a minimum, meet those 3 characteristics. The challenge will be to find that thing.
Global project.
And if we can't, then maybe we do something in each of the 7 areas of focus.
So, but we can say that we're Rotarians, we like challenge, and so
Sure.
we will move forward, and I'm
Right.
sure that we'll find that challenge.
Right.
And can we say, John, that in some way Rotarians and Rotary International are solving and helping to solve those problems that sometimes politics or other organizations are not able to? Does Rotary can still continues to be this shining light of hope, of ethics, of how can you say, this example to society? Because we talk about this in our journey, that one of the key words about Rotary is trust, and we sell trust. Like people trust the Rotarians around the world, around the communities, around their cities, and are we these problem solvers? Can we be in the future as we were in the past?
Well, as you said, in the past we have had an incredible history, an incredible trajectory. We talked a second ago about the polio and the legacy we're going to leave there. But in the area of peace building, in the area of bringing people together, we've done a fantastic job through our history. Think about it, there were more than 40 Rotarians participated in the drafting in the various working groups to draft the Charter of the United Nations in 1945 in San Francisco. We run one of the largest youth exchange programs in the world. 8,000 to 9,000 students every year are, it's not just, Portugal, the United States, it's Mozambique, Taiwan, it's Slovakia, Canada. I mean, it's everywhere. And through those connections and through those personal connections, which we're so good at, we build this peace, goodwill, and understanding among people. In fact, I have the privilege of representing Rotary at many international conferences, Davos, similar types of things. And I can't tell you, Sergio, how many times I'll be speaking to a minister or a head of state or a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. And I say, I'm from Rotary, and they say, oh, Rotary, I was a youth exchange student. I went to Chile for a year thanks to Rotary. And thanks to Rotary, I am who I am today. Rotary changed my life. I am who I am today thanks to Rotary. And you hear that over and over and over again. So historically, we've made, not even talking about all of the projects that our clubs do at the local and regional level. So the question you ask is, how do we make sure that we continue to do that? Because we have this ability. And again, it comes back to what we were talking about earlier. We need to continue to grow our organization. We need to strengthen our clubs. In those countries where we're losing members, we need to be flexible. We need to change the product we're offering without sacrificing our core values. And through that, grow our organization so we can make an even greater impact.
It's amazing. And I believe that also in your words, it's that message to all of us that we must keep focused in our mission, but to be flexible in the way we do things. This pandemic also brought to us these needs. My son was in home having classes, and then he went to school, and then we felt this in our business, in our daily life. So I believe that also in your words, this is call to action. We must insist in our purpose, but we must change the way we do things.
Again, if the way we've done things traditionally is working, and your club is growing, and it's doing great project, and it's attracting the kind of membership you'd like, there's no need to change.
Yeah, okay.
But if it's not, there's no option but to change, because we need to change for the world. The world is not going to change for us. And again, it comes down to what are we offering our membership? What is the product we're offering? And if people aren't buying that product, or if they buy it and they find it isn't what they thought it would be. Last year we had 150,000 people join Rotary, which is great, but we had 150,000 people leave Rotary. And so if your club is struggling, or if you're not growing, you need to change. And if a club isn't willing to change, no problem, then let's set up new clubs, innovative clubs, that do things differently, that's going to attract the kind of people that we want. So for me, it's a combination of flexibility, it's a combination of increasing our impact, it's a recognition that our values can never change, but that there are different ways to deliver those values in a way that offers value to the people and relevance to the people we're trying to attract. Because we have to remember, there's enormous competition out there. You just talked about the pandemic and technology. It's changed the way people are now doing things. It's changed the way Rotarians are doing things. And so there's much more competition out there. We need to be flexible, agile, and able to adapt.
Flexible, agile, and able to adapt. It's an honor to have you here with us. For me, it's a pleasure also to know you not only as our General Secretary, but also as a human being. And my final question, what would you like to say to the Rotarians in the world? A final message to all of us.
Well, I'd like to say that, we are all privileged to be part of an extraordinary organization. In my view, an unmatched international platform to do good and to make a difference on the local, regional, and international level. We've had more than 100 years of incredible success, of making a difference. But we're now at a crossroads. The world is changing, and our organization needs to change with the world. And that means being flexible, agile, and be willing to adapt. Not for the sake of adapting, but in order to be able to continue growing our organization so we can continue to make an even greater impact, and so we can continue to really change the lives of even more people around the world. We have an incredible legacy, and we also have before us an incredible future if we're willing to adapt, to be agile, and to be flexible.
Thank you so much, John. For me, as I said, it was a pleasure. Your message, will, I believe it will be it will have a high impact in all of us. And keep safe, keep doing your job, and keep inspiring all the Rotarians to move forward and to give the best of us, because we are here not for us, but for those who need us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Sérgio.
Thank you. Obrigado.